Welcome back to Power Lunch. Well, following on its significant recent investments in the French wine industry, especially in Bordeaux, China has now made its first investment into South Africa's wine industry. Perfect China has taken a 51% shareholding in Perfect Wines of South Africa, and they've together bought the wine cellar at the well-known Val de Vie estate in the heart of the winelands, and that's between Paarl and Franschhoek. Joining us now to provide more details, Hein Koegelenberg, who's the chief executive of, the chairman of Perfect Wines South Africa. That's innovative, Hein, before we go into today's deal, to actually bring in a Chinese partner. We've seen Chinese investors, very aggressive in other parts of Africa, starting to get more exposed to South Africa. But in the wine industry, well, one doesn't immediately associate Chinese with wine drinking.
Yes, Alec, I think if you look at France at the moment, there's about 15 wineries already in the hands of Chinese shareholders, and this is the first one in South Africa. China is the 5th largest producer of wine in the world. South Africa is only 8th. So yes, they're also a wine country, but I think it's only recently that, from a South African point of view, that we realized the potential of the Chinese market for us.
You say we realized. You realized it. How did you get together with these guys?
It was about 8 years ago when the financial crisis started in USA that I decided not to move our distribution to US, but rather to Asia, and then specifically to China. And I appointed James Tan and Michelle, 2 people, Mandarin speaking, working for us in China, and building a relationship with different companies. And firstly, I started with appointing an agency, Orsino World Wines, for La Motte and Le Peslieb. But through that partnership and also friendship with other connectors, and especially the people from Perfect China, we played golf with Mr. Hu, the CEO, and became friends with him. He came and visited us a couple of times with his family in South Africa, and it was after one of these visits that he said to me, we have the same family values and social responsibility values, so we need to do some business. And that's how we started this Le Huguenot wine brand for China.
It's a very important point that you make, because quite often South African or African business people think that you arrive in China and sign up a deal. It doesn't work like that, though, does it?
No, definitely not. Now, you have to build a relationship with your network first. It took us about 3 years before he came to us and he said to me, they are shareholders in a company in China, Perfect China, and they are the 2nd largest direct sales organic product company in China, but they didn't do wine. They're sitting with a huge network of about 5,000 outlets, just over 1 million salespeople in China. And he said to me, let's do a wine. I think that was about 6, 7, 8 months before that he started with a Chinese wine, also became a shareholder in a Chinese company. And we started the project Le Huguenot when he was in South Africa about, I think it was in September in 2011. And in 2012, we started the shipments of 2.8 million bottles. And at that stage, it was 50% of South Africa's volume to China. And as you know, South Africa is only 2% of all imported wine into China, so we're not a big player at the moment.
Well, 25% of the total exports, as you say. This transaction that you are announcing or have announced today, is this, it's clearly not the entire Val de Vie development, but the wine side?
No, it's only the wine estate at Val de Vie estate. Val de Vie is a polo wine estate, but they also have a wine estate with 24 hectares of vineyards. And we decided to purchase the 24 hectares and the estate at Val de Vie for wine because of all the infrastructure already at the polo estate. And the idea is to renovate a barrel maturation cellar big enough that we can do all the exclusive, expensive wines of our brand Le Huguenot into China.
And the Val de Vie estate itself is going great guns. I see on their website that Ryk Neethling, who's is he your marketing director as well, the swimmer? Or was he of the estate? He's just sold his house for 11 million.
Ryk Neethling is a marketing director for Val de Vie. And yes, we work closely with Ryk and Martin from Val de Vie to establish this deal. And surely going forward now, it'll be a closer relationship between our company, Perfect Wines of South Africa, bringing Chinese people on an incentive trip on a yearly basis. Our first one is 3rd of September. We will have 700 people, guests from China, visiting us for 1 day at the convention center in Cape Town. And the idea is, on a yearly basis, bring between 700 and 1,000 Chinese people to come and visit South Africa for 1 week. Obviously, we need to entertain them, experience them a bit of the beauty of South Africa, not only the wine side, but the whole of South Africa, Western Cape. And hopefully they will spend some money with us in South Africa.
Hein Koegelenberg is the chairman of Perfect Wines. He's also well known in South Africa for his brand Leopard Leap. And bringing, well, 8 years ago, he decided to look east rather than west. It's advice that many in South Africa have not followed yet, but I don't think it's too late. The relationship with China is going forward at a rate of knots. We've just had a little bit of breaking news coming through. A company called Global Credit Ratings has said that First Strut, getting back to that story on the bond that defaulted, quote, wasn't completely honest with us. Well, that's news to everybody, isn't it? Yeah. We'll be following that First Strut story as we go forward into next week. It is something that is going to be with us for quite some time, although Paul was saying a little bit earlier that 925 million is not that big in the context of the bond market. It is the first major bond default in South Africa and surely will have knock-on effects. Well, thanks for being with us. After the break, it's Fin Week Money Matters. Have a good weekend.